Hello everyone, so welcome. So today we shall going to tackle a SQL interview question that was asked at the Airbnb for the data analytics position. So let's jump straight to the question. So the question is asking to write SQL query to find the most popular room type searched by users. Then you show the room type and the number of searches for each, and then you order from the most to popular, from the most to the least popular search. So we have this table here. So as you can see, this is the user, the search day, and then we have the room preference. So this user searched for in this date, search for loft apartment and studio, and then you have user 202. This one's on this date search for loft apartment shared studio. Then you have user 203. This date is search for studio and shared studio, and then you have user or visitor 204 is search for studio. So the question is asking to find the number of searches, the most popular room type. So the most popular room type searched by the user. So you can see these are the room type. So how many how many time was the for example room type loft apartment was searched. So loft apartment was searched by 2 times. You can see it was searched by visitor 201, and then it was also searched by visitor 202. So loft apartment. So let's say loft apartment. Let's just say loft apartment was searched how many? 2 times. And then studio was searched 1, 2, and 3. So studio. Let's say studio was searched how many? Number of searches 3, and then you have shared studio. So shared, let's say shared studio. So this one was searched how many times? It was searched by user 202, 1, and then user 203, 2, 2. So the question, so we now have the room type and their respective number of searches. And also the question is asking to order these to order this number of searches based from the most popular to the least popular. So that means this one should start. So we can copy, put it at the top. Yes. So basically our final output should be this, where we have the number of where we have the room type and their respective number of searches, and then the number of searches have been ordered from the most popular to the least popular. So let's start writing a query here. So let's just copy this one, and then so for us to first of all we need to split this room preference. So for example, we need to split this room preference so that each and every room preference or room type to be in its own row. So for example, currently we have how many row? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need to split each and every room preference to have its own row. So we're going to have how many row? 1, the first the first row, second row, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So we're going to have 7 row because we want each room preference to have its own row, so that it can be easy for us to deal with. So for us to split and distribute this room preference to each and every row, we're going to use what we call cross join. We're going to use cross join lateral lateral honest, and then so we and then use this string to string to array. So we are room preference preferences. So we want to split them based on comma. So we're going to put this split based on comma, and then so the whole of this column we can call it as row 1 as room. And then so if we run this, we're going to have our table our room preference have been separated into each and every row. Yeah, so you see that the loft apartment, you can see it's in the first row, and then the studio is in the second row, and then here in 202 you can see loft apartment, it's in the first row, and then shared studio is in the second row, and then we have 203 studio is in the first row, and then shared studio is in this second row, and then we have 204. 204 was basically one room preference, so basically it should just maintain that. So we have this now. Since we have this now, we can use group by, and then we count the number of searches. So we can use CTE. So let's use CTE with, so let's call this table T1 as this. Now let's select now room, comma, and then we count and put 1, and then this one you can call it as number of searches for from T1 from T1, and then we group by room. So for this room we can decide to trim, because as you can see there's some extra spaces for some of these room values. So we can decide to trim so that we remove all these unnecessary spaces among the values in this column room. So we can decide to use trim, and then and then we call it, let's just call it room type. Room type. So group by, we shall go into, simply go into group by room type, and then we order by, as the question is asking, we order by the number of searches in descending order. So we can write desk. So if we run this, we're going to have our room type and their respective number of searches. So let's run this. So let's run this. So you can see we have the room type and their respective number of searches. Yeah, so we can see it's just the same as the one we've manually tried to bring the logic. So if you found this video helpful, kindly subscribe and comment on the topic that you want me to cover in the next session. Thank you.